Hello everyone, I'm doing a reading on Keir Starmer. So if you see this, it means I'm happy with it. If not, you'll probably see another video where I'm saying I did a reading but I wasn't feeling great, so I could not connect properly. How's he doing right now? And then I'm going to channel a bit of what I was getting. Okay, so he's definitely choosing what he wants to see. I wouldn't say that he's having a ride in the park. He's definitely holding his ground, staying, he's definitely holding his ground on what he says, what he wants to implement. It seems like even he might lack the kind of creativity kind of side of stuff, and is very much straight with processes, sword in the stone kind of thing. I don't know why I'm saying sword in the stone. Here we've got the Empress, so let's see what's that. He definitely is not sleeping at night. He's feeling very bound by something. And this could be a feminine energy that is kind of weighing in on him. I feel like it's his emotions, his feminine energy with him causing this overdrive. So his emotions may not be in best place at the moment. I also think when I see this is that he refuses to see any wrong. And we've got the page. Yeah, so I think here there's also what this is telling me is with him refusing to see any wrong, he probably also likes to slide out of responsibility. And more so has the desire to control, very much so confirmed by spirit, power and control, and won't let go. I'm gonna ask, is he suited to be a politician, right? Regardless, let's say the time frame, let's say the puppet masters are affecting also who he is. Is he suited to be a politician? Now, if you know my readings, you know that I said 2000. If he thought 2025 was hard, he is going to have a very challenging time in 2026. And if he lasts to the end of 26 and enters into 2027, let me tell you, he is going to be limping in 2027. That's for sure. Okay. Is he suited to be a politician? We've got the Ace of Swords. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. I thought another card fell out. Hang on a sec. Maybe not. Interesting how I'm going that way, isn't it? When I'm putting the cards. I would say not, to be honest with you. I think this is telling me he's very much not the politician type. He's probably very much like, I want to say, accountant, processes, analyses. He doesn't know how to read the room. He doesn't know quite how to lead. This tells me definitely not a politician. I think his strength, and I'm channeling here as well now, is like he could have a 1 million things and he'll be able to get one thing in these very small, tiny, organized pockets. I feel like he's that type of person, and he likes processes. He doesn't read the room very well. Okay, he likes the power and control and the recognition of the play of the place. That's interesting. Of his position. I think his super strength is what I just said about organizing 1 million things when the rest of us would be so overwhelmed. So I think accountant, probably solicitor, which he was, wasn't he, is great for him. we see it within him, but I see it here. He is very resilient. When I see these cards, he's very resilient. I'm getting that from Spirit, like very resilient in terms of knockdown and up. When he believes in something, he believes in it very hard. More please, Spirit, so I can channel a bit more. Yeah, so can you see, when he believes in something, he believes in it very hard, till death do us part. So this is telling me he's not going to give up, okay? He doesn't give up on any aspect in life. And I think life is not as some people have a life that is very, very challenging for them. I don't think he's had a life that's been extremely challenging for him. I think he might have had a challenging time, but it's not like the extreme challenge like what I'm trying to say, his resilience level is up here. His challenges in life have been down here. That's what I'm saying, okay? And I think his visions can be inflated sometimes, and that is definitely a confirmation. I wanted to see, I'll look at Farage in a minute as well. I do want to say that if you're thinking the current majority of the current leaders are in position and staying, they're not, okay? This is going to be a moment when we're going to see upon the 11th hour, they're gone, right? And this includes this guy. So, when is that? We're going to see. But I've just mentioned, I did mention as well, when everyone kept saying Keir would be out, 2025 was going to be challenging. 2026, if he goes into it, my God, he's going to wish he didn't. But he's not that type of person, like, to save a face, you know what I mean? I think he's got a healing wound around needing to be in power and control, okay? But watch the current leaders of now. That's not going to last. Watch them along the 11th hour, let's say. I do get with him, he likes to impose himself on people, right? So this could be my way or the highway. But I do think that inflated at times. Yeah, I've said that, haven't I? Like, his visions can be quite inflated at times, which is interesting. But he's not creative. He's not creative in his visions to a certain extent. Remember, I said that I think we're going to see in April, please check it out, some of the Labour either walk out, resign. So we're going to see what that happens there. But this, what am I asking now? I'm just shuffling. Hang on, let me ask. The energy around him, given that I said that. Some are seeing the loss, and this is where I've said they're going to walk away. He does have support, though. He does have some supportive energy around him to keep him moving forward. And there's the Ten of Pentacles as well. It seems like there's some money, but this is also telling me those that are behind the curtain. This was going to be a question. Are those that are behind the curtain, like the masters that we don't see, are they happy with him? And I already have my answer here. It seems like yes, but we'll pull some cards. So are they happy with him? Can we have more on how they see him? This tells me is that they can call his bluff a little bit, and he doesn't listen to his gut as much as he should, or his intuition. He doesn't question stuff on an intuition level. Again, very analytical type of person. His emotions could be imbalanced, but sometimes it can be a bit all over the place. And it seems like this tells me they're happy because he gets the job done. He just gets whatever job is needed. And this is probably where I said about the resilience, is his innate ability to just get stuff done. Look at that. I can't you know, get the job done easily and doesn't give up. We can see in the cards here. Now, I've said in my previous readings, there's something about him. I'm not talking about just scandal that's going to come out, but there's something about him, like a stunt in him. If you go back to my readings, and you'll know that I've said that. But I do want to ask a question. Let's see from the cards if you can guess it. Okay, so how do the public see Keir? They're waiting to celebrate on his departure here. It seems like a fire energy is someone who they're actually looking for. They are seeing that there's very much a need to defend oneself in the public, like as a citizen, to really always be on guard and defend self against the government. And it's causing a lot of anxiety and stress, and waiting for the day on judgment of when he's going to be out, you know, when the universe steps in and decides it's his time to go. Okay, so just kind of patiently waiting, but also not so much. So a lot came out that he knew of, like the scandals and stuff, or, you know, did he actually know of the exact scandals around SEX ones, or was it just like the fraud and selling information? Let's see. Did he know about the SEX crimes and the Epstein links? It's funny because this is telling me he's a lawyer, so he knows how to get to the bottom, the deepest things, and have the patience to actually find what is supposed to be unfound by normal people and be confused. But this is also telling me that there was some kind of overlooking from his part. So he knew there was something, but he overlooked the detailing of it exactly. Because he's very forensic in the way I feel he is. That's what I get. So how could he have not seen it if he's like that solicitor, accountant kind of forensic kind of energy that I get for him? And it seems like he did overlook a little bit of it. It could have been the turned a blind eye, but it looks like there's a bit of calling bluff. He was a bit confused, I don't know. But he did know to a certain extent. There might be some element. So 2026 is really going to mark, if he lasts by the end of 2026 and goes into 2027. Like I said, can you see this? Can you see here? He's still in his position. There is a page here, though. We're not seeing him as the best politician, and seeing that he's coming to an end. And if he does last into 2027, it's kind of like he's his timeline of us seeing him in 2027 is there, possibly, but he's already kind of gone. Behind the scenes, behind the curtains, okay? Something around that. But like I said, I want to emphasize that he will enter 2027 limping. I see May now, right? Is he doing some kind, is he doing election work now? There is definitely something apart from the stint that he wants to keep a secret, buried. He wants to keep it buried. I wonder if it comes out. Well, there's more truths coming up, and I think it's now towards the summer especially, and then October time there's something significant coming as well. I'll also add, you know, he was selected to do this job, you know, is meant to do this job, whatever the job is he's doing in the UK. He was selected on this for this period of time. It's a bit like we've got, you know, I say we as if I'm sat in California. It's a bit like Duck, isn't it? And that's why I say watch the 11th hour. These some of these leaders, and I'm not saying Duck is going to be out either, but you know there are some. With him, he likes rational strategy that has no kind of shake up or movement. So like, let's flow with it. Everyone does their job. But I sense that there's a major shake-ups coming, and what he feels rational and stable is not going to be the same. And I think we've just seen that where, you know, he's had movement in his cabinet, hadn't he? Like Angela Rayner, Mandelson. He had someone else. Is it his strategy of communication or something else? So someone else, all following each other. So he kind of needed to stand with the pledge on his Labour Party that they won't put up with such stuff, of course. But at the same time, that's really shaken him, I feel, because of his rationality and liking things to be all in order and just flowing and going. And he doesn't do well with that kind of shake up and then reshuffling and moving, reshuffling and moving, reshuffling and moving. It's like someone who moves countries can adapt so quickly and likes moving, and someone who doesn't really like moving. But I think May, there could be some reputation damage, and like I said, going into summer is going to be very challenging. September, October could bring something up again. I do get that. And I do think that there's going to be some resignations or moving from the Labour Party. This summertime, you know, May onwards, is really going to shake him. And we're going to wonder, is he coming out? Do you know, every time there's a shake up, they're like, he's going to be out, he's going to be out, he's going to be out. It's going to be one of those that's like, okay, is he going to make it now? Is he honestly going to make it? This is just a massive shake, right? But definitely also into next year, which I'll go into, is going to be, he's going to have a very strong test of time, and he'll be limping by the beginning of 2027. This year is a year, I feel, of reckoning for him. And I think in May we've got the elections coming up, so yeah, can you see the limping 2027, even though that's what Spirit's telling me, look at the limping. But what I'm looking at here is we might be told something that we don't want to do or hear or follow in April time, okay? And I think he's also at the same time holding on to something, but he's getting worn out. And this fire energy that comes up is really, really interesting. is he out for May elections? Is he currently out on campaigning? He's going to get worn out some way. And I feel like there's going to be an exposure of vulnerabilities and building pressure that he's going to be feeling, even if he doesn't show it. As we move on in this year, he is going to have, there's going to be some unclear communication, I feel. And I feel that is going to also possibly, he's got to be very wary about misunderstandings. And when I think of that, I think that he's got to be very, very careful on the international front. If we're looking at unclear communication, misunderstandings, I'd say you need to be very, very careful. And I think he's going to be feeling pressure as time goes on, and isolated a lot, quite alone, even if he still has support from his cabinet. Like I said, I do think there's a lack of creativity, bubbliness in his approach, a lack of maybe spontaneity, which those elements could be a bit of a weakness. He's more practicality, determined, grounded, rooted, lacks that kind of side of the oppression that I said. I think the heat is maybe off him a little bit right now because people are concerned with Iran, and so people are treading carefully, and this includes like the MPs that I'm talking about. They're more focused on that as opposed to him. With that, I do want to pull cards on Farage very quickly, because I think Farage is going to have a difficult period this year. I don't think it's going to be as sliding and, you know, great as maybe people are expecting, or he's expecting, or maybe he's starting to see it, given that the elections are coming up. And I don't know why I'm getting something about crypto policy or restriction coming up. Is anything said about that? So Farage is going to be wanting to go fast, all right? But here is like he's pulled back in some kind of way. He's got a lot of ideas he wants to push forward with, but it's kind of like hold your horses. There is an element here where, again, he's going to be, there's some agitation. There's a push and a pull energy. And I see here that this could also resemble a bit of public scrutiny on something with him. There is a spotlight that's coming on Farage, and I wonder what's that going to be. Look at that, right? I wonder if he's quick to action on something or speak of something. So I do think that there's going to be this push-pull and continued pressure running up into the pre-elections for him as well. This is not a good energy of balancing out, which could make him feel quite heavy. And we see it here, right? I think after the election, there's high stakes for him. I think there's I do feel like there's strong support around his peers and MPs that could help him communicate clearly, because he's feeling confident with that support. But at the same time, I feel like he wants to be at the front of it all and do it all himself, or say it all himself in some kind of way. There's something that he doesn't want to gather his troops, his thing. There's a lot of idealism, but there's a pullback. One card for 2026 and one card for 2027. Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like 2026 is more challenging for him, and we see it, than 2027. So that's what I have, given I don't know much about politics and what's going on, but that's my reading and prediction on it. And I managed to get through. Maybe I could have done, I'm not going to say anything, because if I say people are going to be nasty and criticize. Okay, so that's what I have. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you give it insights. It is a prediction. So far I've been right in my predictions with him, so If you follow the channel, you know that. Take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.